Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the sources you're curious about and really dig deep to unearth the most valuable insights just for you. Today, we're plunging into something pretty fascinating, I think. Might even spark your next big adventure, who knows? It's the simple, but actually quite profound act of trying a new hobby. Now, our sources for this deep dive, we've got a really compelling story about one person's journey into painting. And that's backed up with lots of related vocabulary, some essential phrases, real-world examples, all the good stuff. Our mission today really is to uncover not just the how-to, the practical steps of starting something new, but also the deeper personal growth, those unexpected joys, and maybe even the lasting connections that pop up when you step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, and what's really illuminating here, I find, is how these seemingly small choices, just deciding I'll pick up a paintbrush, can ripple outwards. They can have a significant impact on our mental well being, boost our confidence in ways we don't expect, and even surprisingly, forge new friendships.
Hmm.
So, through this deep dive, we'll explore how hobbies are, well, they're far more than just ways to pass the time, aren't they? They are powerful avenues for self expression, for focused learning, which really sharpens your mind, and for finding genuine personal satisfaction. That feeling you get from creating or mastering something, it's pretty unique.
I think so too.
And hopefully by the end, you'll feel inspired to maybe think about what new curiosities you might want to explore.
Absolutely. And really bringing all these ideas to life today is the story of Lily. Her journey is our central narrative, and it's just a fantastic illustration of this whole process. It's packed with practical lessons and honestly some surprising insights that might challenge how you think about learning new things.
Let's dive in. So every significant journey, especially into something unknown, it always starts with that one step, doesn't it? And often that first step feels pretty daunting.
For a lot of us, it's about wrestling with that initial hesitation. And our story today focuses on Lily. Now, she, like probably so many people listening, had always had this quiet, sort of lingering curiosity about painting. She admired art, definitely, but she'd never actually, tried it herself.
Right, the classic, I like the idea, but
Exactly. And why not? Well, her reasons are super relatable, just incredibly common. She basically figured it would be difficult and messy.
the difficulty and the mess, the twin barrier.
Totally. And just think about that for a second. How often do we build things up in our minds like that? We imagine an activity is too complex or it needs too much time, or maybe it requires some innate talent we just don't think we have, or maybe it's just too much hassle to even start.
Yeah, that perception barrier is huge.
It really is. And it's not always just a fear of failing, is it? Sometimes it's a fear of the process itself. The perceived inefficiency, the fact you won't be good right away, the sheer chaos of trying something new.
The lack of control, maybe.
Yeah, that too. But then something shifted for Lily. One particular Saturday morning, it wasn't some dramatic lightning bolt moment, more like a gentle nudge from within. She just decided, you know what, today I'm just going to give it a try.
That's it, the decision point.
That's it. That small, quiet decision, that little bit of resolve, that's what changes everything. It moves you from just being passively curious to actively exploring. And that right there, that's a really powerful insight into the psychology of starting something new, I think.
Oh, absolutely. That initial step Lily took, that give it a try moment, it's fundamental. And it's really worth digging into why. The crucial thing here is how this small act, overcoming that internal barrier she'd built up, connects directly to the wider benefits of hobbies that our sources highlight.
Right.
Hobbies, as the research points out, aren't just filler activities. They're described as a great way to relax, learn new skills, and meet people. But let's go a bit deeper. How does that actually work? Well, when you get involved in a hobby, especially one that needs focus, You naturally shift your attention away from the usual daily grind, the stressors. That's not just relaxation in a passive sense, it's more like active mindfulness. You're engaging a different part of your brain, allowing for some real mental decompression.
I see. Like switching channels.
Exactly. And then there's the skill part. It's not just about learning how to paint, for example. The act of practicing deliberately in a low-stakes setting like a hobby helps you discover hidden talents and boost confidence in a really profound way.
How so?
Because it's not just about finishing a painting or whatever the end product is, it's about those repeated small wins against your own self-doubt. It's the process of tackling something you thought was hard and actually seeing yourself get better, even just a tiny bit. That fundamentally starts to rewire your belief in what you can do.
Okay, so it builds self-belief through action.
Precisely. That's the real insight. Hobbies can be like little training grounds for self-efficacy. So when Lily decided to push past her fear of mess and difficulty, she wasn't just trying to paint. She was, maybe without realizing it fully, opening herself up to a whole cascade of positive outcomes, building resilience, building a sense of agency.
That makes sense.
And this act, stepping outside your comfort zone, even with something seemingly small like a hobby, well, that's often where the unexpected joy and lasting friendships come from. Because you're putting yourself in new situations, meeting new people, where authentic connection and discovery can actually happen. It teaches things like patience, creativity, and persistence, not through theory, but through direct experience.
What I love about Lily's story is how quickly she moved from making the decision to actually doing something. The practical side of how she started was incredibly simple. That's another key lesson, I think. There was no need for a fancy studio or signing up for an expensive art course right away. She literally just went to, as the source says, a local store and bought the essentials. Brushes, paints, a canvas. That's it.
Strips away the excuses, doesn't it?
It really does. It dismantles that myth that you need tons of preparation or a big budget to start something.
Yeah.
And then she found a practical way to fit it into her life. She carved out, quote, a small space in her living room, her little creative corner. And that's not just about the physical space, is it? It's about creating the mental space, too. Making it a regular thing, part of the routine.
Yes, making it real, tangible.
Right. It reinforces that you don't need grand gestures. And for learning, she turned to what's readily available now. She started watching online tutorials to understand the basic techniques, mixing colors, and using different brushstrokes.
The power of the internet.
Exactly. It just highlights how much learning a new skill has been democratized. You can literally start in your living room with basic gear, guided by experts from anywhere in the world, all right there. That accessibility just massively lowers those initial hurdles, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It means the biggest barrier often isn't access anymore. It's that internal resistance we talked about.
Yeah.
It's about giving yourself permission to try, knowing that, even the greatest artists started with just simple strokes, probably making a bit of a mess.
A very encouraging thought.
So naturally, the first results of almost any new creative thing are, well, they're rarely masterpieces, are they? And Lily's experience, it perfectly shows this universal truth. Her first paintings, the source tells us, looked simple and unsteady.
Which sounds about right for a beginner.
Exactly. And that's not just normal, it's actually essential for real learning. But the critical part, the really insightful bit here, is her reaction to those early attempts. Despite how they looked, she enjoyed every moment and felt proud of the effort she put into creating something from scratch.
That's key. Focusing on the effort.
Absolutely key. It's not just a nice sentiment. It highlights a vital principle in learning and development.
Yeah.
The importance of celebrating the effort and the process itself, rather than demanding immediate, flawless results.
Right. Because progress isn't instant.
Not at all. Progress is about improvement over time, no matter how small the steps seem. And effort in this context isn't just burning energy, it's that conscious, dedicated application of yourself to achieve something, especially when it feels hard.
Hmm.
And some research suggests that often it's not achieving mastery that gives the biggest mental well-being boost from a hobby. It's the actual process of learning, maybe even struggling a bit, engaging your brain in new ways, building that tolerance for, things not being perfect right away.
That's interesting. So the struggle itself is valuable.
In many ways, yes. And Lily's immediate sense of accomplishment, that sense of achievement she felt when she hung her very first painting on the wall, even if it was simple and unsteady, shows the reward isn't just in the final piece. It's deeply embedded in the act of creating and in having the courage to try and keep going despite those early imperfections. It's about building your own internal validation.
And then, like often happens with hobbies, the experience didn't stay solitary for long, did it? It took on a social dimension.
Right.
The next step for Lily was inviting her friend Anna to join her. And that immediately turned her personal exploration into this shared adventure. The source says, together they experimented with watercolors and acrylic paints. You could almost picture it, can't you? Just
Yeah.
mess around trying different things
Yeah,
together.
it lowers the pressure when you're doing it with someone else.
Exactly. But it wasn't just about the art materials, was it? It was fundamentally about the connection. They were laughing at their mistakes and learning from each other.
The shared vulnerability.
Precisely. It highlights this really important, maybe sometimes overlooked benefit of hobbies. They're a fantastic, low-pressure way to connect with people. Our sources really emphasize how meeting new people and sharing ideas are core benefits.
Mm-hmm.
When you share a hobby, you're not just sharing an activity. You're sharing a space where you can be a bit vulnerable, connect genuinely, maybe solve little problems together, encourage each other, all while hopefully having fun and not taking it all too seriously.
It's a great antidote to feeling isolated, offering that shared purpose.
Absolutely, a shared purpose and a safe space for growing together.
And if we look at the bigger picture here, Lily's personal discovery about painting, it goes way beyond just learning a technique. It speaks volumes about the deeper, almost therapeutic aspect of hobbies. She found painting was a relaxing way to express feelings.
That's huge.
It really is. It's a profound insight into how creative outlets can serve as essential emotional channels. For Lily, it wasn't just about making a picture. It became a nonverbal way to explore her inner world, to process feelings and experiences. She could actually show happiness, frustration, or calmness through colors and shapes.
Wow.
And that definition of express yourself, showing your emotions or thoughts through an activity, it's incredibly powerful because it allows for a type of communication that doesn't rely solely on words.
Yeah, sometimes words just don't cut it, do they?
Exactly. How many times have we struggled to find the right words for a complex feeling? Hobbies can offer this nonverbal language for our internal states, a way to give form to things that feel formless.
That's a really nice way to put it.
And it's definitely not just painting. Think about the energy you can pour into playing music, or the stories woven into knitting or quilting, the catharsis of writing, even the focused precision of something like woodworking or model building. Each hobby offers a unique way to express yourself creatively, to process things, to communicate experiences in ways that maybe words alone can't capture.
So it's about externalizing the internal.
Precisely. And that ability, that act of externalizing what's inside in a creative way, is a major contributor to mental well-being. It provides a sense of release, maybe even understanding.
Okay, so after that initial spark and the fun of sharing it with a friend, Lily then showed something really crucial for sustainable growth: discipline,
Mm.
consistent practice, and maybe even more importantly, learning from the mistakes along the way.
Hmm. The persistence factor.
Right. The source tells us during the week she continued practicing. This wasn't just a weekend fling anymore. It was becoming a real commitment, woven into her routine. And through that consistency, she had this key realization, one that applies to pretty much any skill you try to learn. She realized that patience was key and that every mistake taught her something new.
That's a huge mindset shift.
Isn't it? Moving away from seeing mistakes as failures and instead reframing them as invaluable data points, feedback loops that help you improve.
Yeah, information, not judgment.
Exactly. It's about embracing that idea of practice regularly, not just to get better at the technique, but to cultivate a growth mindset where every attempt, every brushstroke contributes to progress. It means understanding that errors aren't dead ends, they're opportunities to learn from mistakes. You figure out what went wrong, you adjust, you gain a deeper understanding.
It's active learning versus just passive doing.
Right. It's about showing up even when it doesn't feel perfect and trusting that consistency, combined with observing what's happening, will inevitably lead somewhere better.
And to support that ongoing journey, to keep that motivation going, Lily did something really smart. She started keeping a small journal to record her ideas and inspiration for future paintings.
Ah, the journal. A great tool.
It's an excellent tool. This habit, using a journal, not just as a diary, but as a dedicated space for thoughts, tracking progress, reflecting on challenges, it's fantastic for any learner, whatever the hobby. It lets you map your journey, process what you're learning, and crucially, capture those fleeting moments of inspiration.
Those little sparks of ideas.
Exactly. That sudden creative idea, that source of energy. And this brings up an important point for anyone listening. How do things like setting goals and deliberately exploring options help keep you engaged and motivated in the long run?
Good question.
Well, by jotting down her ideas and observations, Lily was, in a way, implicitly setting goals for what she wanted to create next. It gave her practice direction, a sense of purpose. And by trying different subjects, different paints, maybe abstract versus realistic styles, she was actively exploring options, testing out different approaches within her hobby.
Keeping it fresh.
Totally. That proactive approach stops the hobby from becoming stale or just repetitive. It ensures the learning journey stays dynamic, driven by curiosity, which is absolutely essential for enjoying it long term.
And then Lily's journey took another step, moving towards a more structured community setting.
Right.
One evening, she attended a local art class, and there she met people of all ages who shared the same interest.
That feels like a really natural and wonderful evolution, doesn't it? From painting alone to painting with a friend to joining a whole group.
Yeah, widening the circle.
Joining a formal class or maybe a workshop, often with an instructor, provides that structured environment, a place where that shared passion creates a really powerful energy. In that class, she learned new techniques. From someone experienced, she exchanged tips with other learners.
And that peer-to-peer learning is so valuable.
Immensely. And then, kind of the peak of this step, she even joined a small exhibition at the end of the month.
Wow, that's a big leap. Isn't it? Think about that trajectory. From being hesitant in her living room to actually putting her work out there in public. It just underlines the huge social and personal benefits that come from being part of a community.
Definitely.
You get the chance to meet new people who genuinely get your passion. You join a class, you participate actively, you can receive feedback, which can be nerve-wracking but so helpful. And all of this just accelerates your learning and boosts your confidence like crazy. It turns a personal interest into a shared passion.
And that shared energy often pushes us further than we'd go on our own.
No doubt.
And the ripple effect, the wider impact on Lily, really captures the whole transformative power we're talking about. The sources clearly state trying a new hobby not only improved her creativity, but also built friendships. Her confidence increased, and she felt more positive and motivated.
Like a total positive feedback loop.
Exactly. It's not just a list of separate benefits, it describes a holistic personal shift, way beyond just learning to paint. Her creativity, that ability to use imagination to make something new, clearly grew. But so did her confidence, that core belief in her own abilities.
And the confidence feeds the motivation.
Absolutely. The more she engaged, the more small successes she had, the more confident she felt, which then fueled her motivation to keep going, try new things. It's a beautiful cycle.
And she didn't just stick to painting, did she?
No, and that's really interesting too. She started exploring other hobbies like sketching, journaling, and crafting. And apparently, she often combined them with painting. This branching out, as the source calls it, shows how one spark of curiosity can ignite others. One new interest can reveal whole other areas of potential you never knew you had.
Like opening one door leads to a whole hallway of doors.
That's a great way to put it. It's a key insight. Mastering, or even just getting comfortable with, one new skill often lowers the mental barrier to trying others. It creates this virtuous cycle of learning and expanding who you are. And the fact that she shared her work on social media and got encouragement back, that just highlights how important positive reinforcement and feeling seen can be in keeping that motivation and enjoyment high. It becomes a journey of continuous discovery, adding new layers to your identity and skills.
You know, when you really get into something new, like a hobby, part of understanding it, part of really living it, is grasping the language around it. And our sources give some great vocabulary that helps us talk about these experiences more precisely. It's almost like hobbies have their own dialect, isn't it?
They really do. And the words themselves tell a story about the process.
Exactly. Let's look at some terms that really lit up Lily's journey, and maybe yours too. Take skill. It's not just having an ability, it's proficiency you develop through deliberate learning and practice. Lily didn't just happen upon painting, she developed painting skills.
Through practice.
Right, which is that repeated effort to improve, to refine your technique, that specific method or way of doing something, like a certain brush stroke or how you mix colors.
Yeah.
Lily needed to learn techniques, and her daily practice wasn't just keeping busy. It was a conscious investment leading to progress, which isn't just moving forward. It's that visible improvement over time, the proof of your effort.
That concentrated energy and dedication.
Yeah. And all that leads to achievement, the successful outcome. Like Lily feeling proud hanging that first painting, even if it was simple. These words, they're like signposts on the journey.
Absolutely. And building on those, think about words describing the learning environment. A workshop, for example. It's more than just a class. It's usually hands-on, immersive, maybe focused on a specific skill taught by an instructor.
That knowledgeable guide.
Exactly, the person who can break things down. And to do anything practical, you need supplies, the materials, Lily's paints and brushes, the actual tools of creation. And then there's that spirit of experimentation.
Trying things out.
Right, actively testing different methods, like Lily and Anna messing around with watercolors versus acrylics, not being afraid to see what happens.
And to keep it all going, you mentioned journaling.
Yes, so important. More than just a diary, it's that personal space to record thoughts, track progress, capture those flashes of inspiration, those sudden bursts of creativity or ideas that fuel the next step.
Keep the motivation going.
Precisely, that driving force. which is helped when others encourage you, give you that support, and boost your confidence, that core belief in yourself.
Which seems to be the ultimate reward in many ways.
It's a huge part of it. These terms aren't just labels, they describe the actions, the feelings, the environment that makes a hobby rewarding.
And beyond single words, English has all these great phrasal verbs that capture the dynamics, the energy of it all. Like starting out, you might pick up a skill relatively quickly.
Yeah, like Lily seemed to pick up painting quite naturally.
Or you might try out something first, just dip your toe in before committing fully.
Like trying out different styles.
And when you really get involved, you get into it. You become properly interested.
Like Lily really got into her art.
Then there are the ones about persistence. You have to stick with it, right? Continue even when it's tough.
Like Lily stuck with it through those early unsteady paintings.
And you join in when you become part of a group, like her art class. You actively participate.
Right. And you set up your space, prepare your environment.
Like Lily set up her painting corner. And maybe eventually you show off your work a little, proudly display it.
Like at the exhibition. And all along, you're working on your skills, continuously practicing.
You just have to keep at it. Consistent effort. These verbs really capture the journey, the commitment.
They do. They add that active dimension.
Now, talking about our hobbies, sometimes the little details of language matter for clarity, for really conveying our enthusiasm. It's not about being a grammar pedant, but about being effective.
Sure. Like expressing interests.
Yeah, exactly. Saying, I am interested in painting makes sense because interested describes your feeling. Saying, I am interested in painting doesn't quite work. The painting might be interesting, but you are interested in it.
A subtle but important difference in meaning.
It really is. It clarifies your connection to the hobby. Another one is talking about future practice. People might say, I will practice every day.
Yeah, you hear that sometimes.
But will needs the base form of the verb after it. So I will practice every day. It just sounds more confident and clear about your intention.
Right. Will signals future, practice is the action.
And that phrase, looking forward to, it's super common. We often hear, I am looking forward trying.
Which should be.
I am looking forward to trying. That too is a preposition here. So it needs the ing form, the gerund. After it, you're looking forward to the act of trying.
Got it. So looking forward to painting, looking forward to learning.
Exactly. Paying attention to these little things just helps you express yourself more clearly, more precisely, and it conveys your genuine connection to what you're doing.
Makes sense. It sharpens communication.
And to show how universal these themes are, our sources included a short dialogue between a Max and a Sarah. And it's amazing how much it echoes Lily's story.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, Max asks Sarah if she's tried any new hobbies lately, and she says, yes, I started baking and painting last month. Right there, that same spark, that willingness to just give it a try.
Same starting point. Curiosity leads to action.
And when Max asks how she started, her answer is almost identical to Lily's.
I watched tutorials online and bought some basic supplies.
But it is, again, the accessibility factor. Low barrier to entry.
Then they talk about practice. Sarah says, not every day, but I tried a few times each week. Which is realistic, right? It doesn't have to be this massive daily undertaking.
Consistency over intensity, maybe. Sustainable progress.
And the feelings. Max asks how she's doing, and Sarah says, I feel proud. I'm improving slowly and enjoying the process. That perfectly captures that focus on effort and enjoyment over instant perfection, just like Lily.
The internal validation again.
Totally. And the social side comes through too. Sarah mentions attending a weekend painting class where she met new people. And she adds, we exchanged techniques and encouraged each other. Just like Lily and Anna and Lily in her class. That shared learning, mutual support.
It's all there. And the dialogue really nails the core benefits. Max says, trying hobbies seems like a great way to reduce stress. Sarah jumps in, yes, and it boosts creativity and confidence too.
Boom! Hits all the key points we've discussed.
Exactly. Mental well-being, creativity, self-belief. And Sarah's final advice for beginners: be patient, practice, and don't fear mistakes.
A perfect summary of Lily's journey, really.
Isn't it? It just shows how these experiences, while personal, follow such a common, inspiring path. Wow. What a journey we followed with Lily, from that first hesitant thought about mess and difficulty, all the way to her flourishing as, well, an artist and just a more confident person overall.
It's quite a transformation.
It really is.
Mhm.
And her ultimate realization, I think, just perfectly sums up this whole deep dive. She felt proud of stepping out of her comfort zone. That feeling, that quiet satisfaction in having taken the leap. That's powerful stuff.
It's not just about the painting itself, is it? It's about the courage shown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the core lesson she learned, and maybe the one we can all take away, is that learning something new required effort, practice, and patience, but it was extremely rewarding. It's that reminder that real growth often isn't quick or easy, but the persistence, the engagement that brings the deepest satisfaction.
It challenges our desire for instant results.
It really does. And look at her perspective now. She now looks forward to weekends when she can spend hours painting, experimenting with colors, and thinking creatively. It's become this source of genuine joy, of vibrant energy for her.
Integrated into her life, not just an add-on.
Right. It's not just a way to fill time. It's become a vital part of her well-being, her identity. It offers that consistent space for flow, for discovery, for expressing herself.
And connecting back to the bigger picture, Lily's whole experience powerfully illustrates that idea that the journey is as enjoyable as the result. That's such a crucial takeaway, especially today when we're often so focused on the outcome.
Get at the finish line.
Right. But it's not just about the finished painting, although that's nice. It's about the feeling of the brush in your hand, the relaxation of mixing colors, the focus needed for a tricky bit, maybe that shared laugh with Anna over a wonky line. Our sources really stress this. Even if the first attempts are imperfect, persistence and enjoyment lead to growth, skill, and personal satisfaction.
So the intrinsic motivation, the enjoyment itself, fuels the persistence.
Absolutely. It's what keeps you going through the challenging parts. And that deep, holistic well-being, that's the real payoff, the enduring reward. Through painting, Lily didn't just learn a skill. She found a joyful, fulfilling way to spend time alone or with friends. She improved her mental well-being. She learned how to focus better, and she found a way to express her emotions creatively and constructively.
She gained a tool for life, really.
Exactly. A profound tool for self-care, for personal development. And this naturally leads to a question for you, listening right now. What areas of your life could be enriched by embracing something new like this? Lily, having gone through it, now encourages everyone to try hobbies they have been curious about.
Her story is the proof.
It's powerful proof that sometimes the greatest rewards, the most fulfilling experiences, are waiting just outside our usual routines, just beyond the edge of that comfort zone, waiting for us to take that first, maybe slightly scary, but ultimately rewarding step. Hashtag, tag, outro.
Well, what an insightful journey that was, exploring Lily's story and this whole landscape of trying new hobbies. We've really seen how that initial step, the patience needed for practice, and the sheer joy of creating something and connecting with others, how it all weaves together into this incredibly rich and rewarding experience, far beyond just the activity itself.
Yeah, this deep dive really brings it home, doesn't it? How these seemingly simple acts of curiosity, just deciding to try something, can unlock really profound personal growth, uncover skills you didn't know you had, and lead to entirely new connections.
Definitely.
So, as you're thinking about everything we've discussed today, maybe consider this. If taking up a new hobby can boost creativity, build friendships, increase confidence, what else might you unlock? What other unexpected skills or opportunities might be waiting for you if you just embrace that little flicker of curiosity and decide, like Lily, to just give it a try?
Hmm.
What dormant curiosity might you awaken today, and, where might that lead?
That's a great thought to leave people with. We really hope this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective, maybe some new ideas, and perhaps even that little nudge you needed to go explore that skill or interest you've been thinking about.
Go for it.
Until next time, keep diving deep into whatever makes you curious.